Shortly after our auditions in March, the coronavirus pandemic swept across the nation and changed our lives completely. State and local government officials ordered us to stay home, shelter in place, and if we did have to go outside, we were mandated to wear masks. The pandemic prohibited us from meeting and rehearsing in our beloved studio spaces, and so the artists had to turn their process inward. We committed to creating dance in the most unusual of places, within the confines of our everyday lives. Our choreography had to adapt, turning away from the social and communal context into the process of creating art in isolation.
So we're moving the program more towards engaging people digitally. We're moving the program into an online atmosphere. We're trying to make our live stream showings all available on our website. We're trying to make our feedback dialogue sessions all available online. We're trying to get people in their homes to engage with the choreographer's work as it's being created during quarantine by video sessions, YouTube, stuff like that.
It's exciting to finally be able to show an excerpt of our work, even though the work is very different and the process was much more difficult than we expected. It's nice to finally be able to share it. Although I don't even know how many people will look at it or will be there, or if we...
A small snippet of some freestyle choreography that I plan to do to a song that really describes how I'm feeling right now.
COVID presents an interesting challenge, not just like in our everyday life, making us a little bit more fearful to go outside, making us have to essentialize our life. Everything has to be more essential. You can't do anything non-essential right now. And so with Articulate, we're trying to think about in our program, what is essential to the program? What is the actual goal? Trying to distill the goal.
So the goal is to take this conversation, the conversation I'm going to have with Mia tonight, and a small snippet of some freestyle choreography that I plan to do to a song that really describes how I'm feeling right now. That is going to be essentially like my 15-minute video that I'm going to present.
Showings, you'll see more and more of a longer dance piece that's getting created while we're in isolation and quarantine to culminate in the final show.
So it started with the idea of blossoming, based on the solo blossoming. We extrapolated the idea of blossoming. We've been having a lot of discussions and talks about the meaning of blossoming and how the confinement and the situation in the world redefined this meaning. Mm-hmm. So we're actually still based on blossoming. Now, what you're going to see is very different from the first aesthetic of my solo blossoming.
My dream is actually super, super selfless. All of I've ever really wanted to do was be able to give back to the community that I came from.
But eventually we'll get back to it. So it's going to be a prolongation or an extrapolation of the solo blossoming.
It is remarkable how much talent is just sitting in the east side of Austin, and it can't be tapped just because people can't afford to be driving all the way up north or out west or down south to where all these big name studios are to get their dance training. I did not get that. When my parents could afford to go, I had to take that one class and I took it back to my home, and that's how I did it. My ballet training came from my mom's kitchen counter.
Our whole mission is to support artists. Our whole mission is to support the community. And so if that's what our mission is, like really helping to actually connect those dots in this particular quarantine time and not just quarantine in this short term, but like the longer impacts of the coronavirus. So